we got our guy Dustin Helton live from Southland Media Day in San Antonio, Texas, joined by Southland Commissioner Chris Grant. Chris, I appreciate you, man, jumping on the show with us.
Yeah, thanks for having me. And look, it was the least I can do. I had to spend 2 years of my first 3 listening to watching. I saw all Dustin's comments about what the Southland wasn't doing right. But what he didn't know, he was helping me out the whole time. So I couldn't wait to this day to thank him because everything he said we weren't doing, we went and did it. And then now, look, we got Stephen and Foster back in the league, right?
I got Crow in here already.
And so, but no, it's been phenomenal. And look, here partnering with the Texas High School Coaches Association, it's been great, phenomenal experience for our student athletes, right? To see the business of it. And, it's no drop off from what you would see from one of the Power 4 conferences. And you all have seen what the SEC and the Big 12 already has done. And I wanted our student athletes and coaches to have that same experience. That it's heavy foot traffic in the background. We're building a relationship with the Texas High School Coaches Association and all their coaches, over 20,000 here in attendance. And then we get to take advantage of the San Antonio market when we have the kind of untapped in regards to the Southland. And so it's been really phenomenal time in a new era of the Southland, right? We're not resting on our laurels. We're going to continue to be innovative and create new partnerships so we can move forward.
Well, before I let Dustin jump in here, because I know he's got some Stephen F. Austin questions for sure. Me and him, we got together and just, looking at different things about just the landscape of FCS football. You see a lot of conference movement, teams jumping up to FBS, teams moving conferences in FCS. For you, though, are you good with the number in the Southland right now, or are you looking to potentially expand even further?
That's a great question. You're coming in hot. I like it.
Gotta start off high.
Right. Look, it's my job to always put us in the best position to move forward. And so, look, my phone is still on. I'm still being aggressive in some of those conversations. For me, I would love to create a divisions, right? It was a lot of talk of an all Texas league. And as I told our institutions, and the reason they didn't entertain it is because we have that, right? And some. And we have, those talent-rich footprint in Texas and Louisiana to take advantage of. And so why go looking for something else, for the prettier prom date in the room when you have it in your backyard? We just got to grow our own brand. And we've done a great job of that thus far in the last 2 years. But where else can we go with it? And so for me, if we can create more regional rivalries and that it truly matter, that's going to sell out stadiums, get kids back in the classroom and not virtual classroom because they want that campus experience, then I've truly done my job and I can increase enrollment or at least contribute to that and help our presidents out as well as our football coaches and student athletes get the support they deserve. And we're on a good start to that by having those regional rivalries, being that gas tank league. You hear us saying a lot of GTL this week. And that's a goal of mine is, do I want a super conference? Look, I'll take it, but at the same point in time, it has to be a good fit along the way. And there's some good opportunities in Texas. And, it's a couple in Louisiana that's kind of untapped that, again, we're going to continue having the conversations. And one thing I can say now, we'll always be ready. It was times before we got caught blindsided prior to my time here at the Southland. And I want to be ensured that I leave it better than I found it and we don't get caught in that situation again.
So, Commissioner, I want to pivot a second. This is also an opportunity to eat some crow because whenever my alma mater, Stephen F. Austin, left, the conference as it was then is nowhere near what it is now. So can you talk about some of the changes that you have made since coming into the office to make the Southland have a different persona, a different perception from other folks?
Yeah, look, outward facing, we have really taken a downturn in the sense that our social media wasn't up to standard. We had a team in place that really wasn't getting on campus and really serving the membership. So that was day one. I wanted to be on campus, meeting with our presidents, our athletic directors, and hearing from the student athletes themselves because they're in the trenches and they have to compete and do this every day. So once we got that transparent, they didn't hold back either. Be careful what you ask for, what we were doing wrong historically. And look, a lot of it for my watch, but I embraced it. I talked to Tom Burnett, my predecessor. Look, he left a foundation where he could leave, and he did it the right way. And it just, again, it got caught up in a narrative that schools were leaving to something that wasn't really there. And so I'm excited to have, all the new members back and welcome UTRGV and Stephen F. Austin, and seeing what's doing. But, more importantly, we've been more outward facing, buckling down on social media. You'll see here what we're doing Media Day. It's a true student athlete experience, right? Content, car wash, national media, you all are here. We got Dave Campbell's here. And I don't think, it's probably been 3-4 years, since, I haven't seen one of my media days yet. And so I couldn't be more thrilled to have that, relationship.
Yeah, I want to follow up on that too, because I've noticed that you guys have probably one of the highest in terms of rates of social media interaction and social media, just in general, whenever you look at all the FCS conferences, you guys are up there.
Yes.
I mean, James doing the team builder this week, like,
come on now, that was big time, right? EA Sports reached out to me personally and said, we love everything you are doing. What do you all need to take this on? I said, well, just put us in the game, right?
Exactly.
No longer we want to keep using team builder. We use that to fancy up the stadium or something, but we want to be a part of the game. Our student athletes' names on the back of the jersey.
No, it's so great. Now, I guess our question to that too is, do you feel that to be sort of almost a value proposition to keep schools, have the schools come back like SFA did, or to stay in the conference because, you have the conference's media presence as a whole backing up the institution?
Right. It's been my goal all along to drive business, right? Because business in the South, it matters. And look, we are FCS conference. Yeah, we don't have the large media deal with great partnership with ESPN right now, but it could be better in a sense when it comes to revenue. And I wanted to be better and grow that. But until that contract's up, and we'll go into those negotiations next year, I had to find other alternatives to drive more revenue. In order to do that, we have to bring our best value to life. And that's truly highlighting our student athletes, our coaches, and our institutions, right? What our footprint's all about. And James Hill has done a phenomenal job, him and his team are really, creating that vision and really, taking some ideas. I'm texting him at 2 a.m., 3 a.m. He's texting me at 5 a.m. Like it's all 24-hour things since he's come aboard. And truly, I give him free reign to say, hey, go in there, talk a little stuff because we'll have some fun with it. But at the same point in time, highlight our membership and put them in position. And I credit our membership because now they've taken the bull by the horns and they've expanded their creative teams, right? And being sure now they're having their own on-campus media days and doing some certain things up to not just do it just to do it. Now they're being more intentional year-round and marketing their programs. And that's what it's all about. We're here to build each other and amplify the efforts. And I think we can continue to grow that.
You mentioned the TV deal with ESPN expires in 1 year.
Yeah.
Is it have you guys explored maybe other avenues? I know like the CAA, the Flow Sports thing, but they also got a lot of local TV deals where they can broadcast in certain cities on certain local channels. Are you looking to do another exclusive deal with ESPN Plus, or are you looking to maybe allow some of these schools in some of these big markets like a UIW or something to access the local television markets?
Right now, first of all, ESPN has been a great partner, right? It's been my first 2 years. We weren't up to really honoring our agreement the way we should be in the sense that getting up as much content as possible. But our membership didn't have a great understanding of that. And ESPN worked with us to get us there. They provide us tremendous resources. And now you see all of our football, men's and women's basketball is on there. And our schools are doing a phenomenal job taking care of the Olympic sports too, within their limitations of having one trailer or one opportunity to do it. And so we just met with the SIDs earlier, and we're looking at ways to do those dual broadcasts when baseball and softball are home to get even more up. So let's start there. 2, our contract currently allows for us for the second selection. If ESPN doesn't select it for linear, then we can go to our local markets and take advantage of that. So that's something that I'm kind of behind the 8 ball on because realignment has been a part of my reign every year, essentially. And so haven't had time to really sit down and focus on that and meet the head department heads from each of those broadcasts, Space City to Bally's, the stadium, so on and so forth. They're bringing that to life. And so there's a lot of interest there. I mean, heck, UTRGV is not even up and running in football, and they're CBS, but they already want to talk. And so our ESPN contract it's an exclusive look in. They get first seat at the table here in March. And so in March, if we can't come to terms, then we can explore other avenues. So until then, right now, negotiations have been great. What I want to do is truly put a value on football, get more linear opportunities, which is why, again, I want to be here to create even a better brand for association with us. And now we have to grow it because we had to perform last year. We didn't have a year that was typical Southland year of at least getting 2 teams in and advancing in the playoffs. So we can take one blip on the radar, but this year I'm expecting, especially with Stephen F. Austin back in the league and everything's built. And our team's really retooled and having a better understanding of the portal and how to operate, using some NIL, using some other recruiting methods. And they've really been out there taking advantage of it. So, look, I want to be there. Hopefully I'm saying this time here in December or next year when we come back to me today, we had 3 teams in and we had a team competing in the national championship. So I won't put the pressure on them winning it, but you better believe I want to bring that trophy home like that one I had back from 2021 that's here today.
I know Dustin also is interested in this question. What is it going to take, in your opinion, for the Southland to garner more national respect and also more respect from just the FCS playoff committee? Because, all of us are based in the South. It's the Big Sky, the Valley, the CAA. They'll get the 3, 4, 5 bids sometimes. What is, in your opinion, what's next for the Southland in terms of earning that respect from the playoff committee?
Right, you're nailing it right now. We got to win those games that matter, right? Those conference games matter a heck of a lot, right? That's us, and we know that's going to be competitive week in and week out. We have to win win those non-conference matchups. We have the Big Sky, we have the Missouri Valley on our schedule this year. We have a couple of UAC teams, United, and I think we might even have one CAA. And so with that said, we have to win those. And heck, you look back to UIW 2 years ago and Southeastern, they both went in and got FBS wins, right? And looking at that, so we want more of that, to become. And I know it's a taller feat, right, to do it, but one thing we're going to work on with our coaches going forward is strategic scheduling initiatives, right? We really don't have a strategy. We didn't have a strategy in place. We want to play those games as getting the footprint. But now, hey, instead of making that a guarantee game, can we make that a home and home? So that, you might not benefit from it year one, but when they come back to your place, you get a chance to sell it out or bring this, like South Dakota State coming in this year. You better believe I'll be there, and I'm expecting us to put a performance in and let them know what Louisiana's really like, right?
Yeah, so you kind of already answered my question. I was saying, have we thought about looking at reaching out to the Big Sky or the Missouri Valley or even the CAA and saying, hey, let's do a Southland Big Sky rival
challenge, right?
Challenge,
yes. And so right now, Missouri Valley and Big Sky are participating in something like that, right?
Yeah.
And so we had commissioner meetings back in June. Actually, had some good conversations with the SoCon and the ASUN commission with the UAC and seeing what's there and that, because I really think we had a couple athletic directors that are familiar with us and the commissioners that we have to do something different to grow our brand in FCS football. We can't rest on our laurels from the past. CFP is doing something different now with the playoffs. That's going to take a little bit away from what we're doing in the postseason. So how can we gain the interest in the regular season so people are tuning in to our game times and then really presenting a better platform for our student athletes to show their best?
The playoffs have been a big conversation. Obviously, being in Alabama, I cover a lot of SWAC, MEAC football as well. A big conversation point has been the playoffs don't make money for the teams, and so it's been more beneficial for the Celebration Bowl and other avenues. For it, just in your opinion, as a commissioner being around the FCS, are there any steps that the FCS could take to make it more revenue generating, or do you think the FCS potentially could explore more bowl games like the Celebration Bowl with the payout and sponsors?
Right. I'm gonna speak for the Southland first. So I'm on the NCAA FCS Oversight Committee, which is a newly anointed. It's our second year going into it. So one thing that just came about is that week 0 is now an opportunity. It's a blanket waiver almost, in the sense that the NCAA legal said we should not make that restrictive to certain schools just for applying for that waiver. So with that, we now have an opportunity to play. We open up the year, right? Taking advantage of week 0. So whether that's all Southland Conference matchup, to your all's point, a conference scheduling initiative with another league, or an opportunity, again, play those games week 1 of Southland. And then on the back end of the schedule, we now can host a conference championship game, drive value, because that's one thing when I met with ESPN and saying that, hey, we would take a championship game from you tomorrow. Right, and doing that, and it hasn't been done truly. I mean, FCS, the SWAC is doing it, but they're not participating in the playoff, so they can do that. And so I think now that will get explored. Well, we can explore that opportunity and then drive valuation and maybe show the rest of FCS where the true value is. Because again, if we don't look at things differently now, we're going to keep falling to the wayside, and the interest is going to go away. And so, unfortunately, change has to take place, and have the old guard that we're working with, and you don't want to move too fast, but we better start moving quicker than we have been, and quit letting others dictate our destiny.
So speaking of the business side of the evaluation, we know that the business of the NCAA has changed.
Yes.
Especially now with the House versus NCAA settlement that's going on. There's just a whole lot of money and a whole lot of costs and things like that. How is the South or how's the conference looking at that and saying, hey, how can we help our institutions survive the changing ways?
Yeah, and that's my number one job. I meet with the board here in 2 weeks, and everybody looking at me is like, where's the revenue coming from next, right? And so that's why I want a better TV deal. Right? I want more sponsorships. We're able to renegotiate with Van Wagner a year ago, and now we get that at a higher clip. And now adding 2 more schools is going to look even better for us. And we're seeing a lot more new partnerships come out of the woodworks that we would never explore before, because we have a stable membership and one that's unified in our approach. The NCAA opening up the commercial logos on the field is another way to drive revenue. So we're looking at it. I'll meet with the ADs on Tuesday. Is it a way to do that collectively throughout, or are you all seeing a return on your investment if you do it locally, right? I don't want to take money out of the pocket. If we can get a higher valuation collectively together by bringing in a national sponsor, we want to take advantage of it. And you're hearing these other commissioners now talk about naming rights. If you talk to our Van Wagner partner, when I came into the league, that's the one thing I did the research with the NCAA to see, make sure it's permissible, and they allowed it. Say, hey, go, as long as it's not a competing sponsor of ours for postseason play, then we're fine. Go ahead and go with it. Now, the issue I ran into, our valuation prior to all these changes in the membership, we didn't have a high enough valuation. So coming back and telling schools, like, I can get you about 20,000 each. You're like, yeah, no thanks, right? And so, but now we're a totally different ball game. And that's why social media is important. That's why our games and winning is important. Having success on and off the field. And I talked to our student athletes earlier. It's like, look, if you all want to leave this better than you found it, I need you all to perform at your best. Not that you're not trying to, but keep that in mind of promoting the league as much as possible, because that's going to drive that sponsorships and give you all opportunities to move us forward. So we're looking at some different initiatives. We hired a chief strategy officer, Breon Dennis, and he's come in. He's changed our ticketing. He's come in and changed some of our marketing initiatives. He came from the minor leagues, and that was my thought, that someone that can do that grassroots marketing and approach and really catering to families and that college town feel. And he's come in and take it by the horns. We had so many ideas to drive up, and one thing that we're not ready to release yet, but I'll give you a soft launch. We'll start a road show this year, and so we have a sponsor on board trying to rack that up, but go around really highlighting the rivalries, because you really haven't heard of a rivalry for about 4 or 5 years until the league was when it was a whole back then. Now that we have it up and going, stabilities there, we got to bring it back to the market and highlight those, the competitions, and let the market know we're here. We're here to celebrate. And then, we have the best tailgating in the country. It's Texas and Louisiana. Like, come on. If anything, you're going to leave full. And hey, if you're into the sodas, you're going to have a lot of sodas at the same time, right? And we're not talking about pop, right? And so, look, our fan base, we have the most hospitable fan base that they welcome all. But when that ball kicks off, free game for everyone to talk a little trash and be as excited as they want to be. And so that's what I'm fortunate to be in my role every day. It's something different, and there's some challenging days, right? But our membership and these student athletes really make it a great opportunity for me to go in and make my job easy, to go celebrate them and look for new opportunities, and not really focus on the challenges too much, because every closed door is an opportunity to open another one.
Commissioner, I know me and Dustin both appreciate it so much, man, to give us almost 20 minutes of your time. I know you're busy. I know you got a million things on your plate, but man, we both appreciate you, and I know we're both looking forward to some Southland football, especially the Rev next to you, man. I know.
Right, exactly. When I was getting on the social media, I'm like, who is this guy, the Rev, that's crushing us? I'm going to Southlandish and all these others. I'm like, they're just crushing us. And so I was like, finally, I get to meet him, and I see, and like he was tweeting before he did the announcement, Stephen. He's tweeting about it, and I'm like, okay, I got to stay quiet. I can't get on and say anything yet. Like, I told you so. This is coming. It's like, just give me some time, and we were bringing this to life. Yeah. But the rebrand. We didn't talk about the rebranding. What we have here in our logo, it's just kind of crooked now. Let me put it back to the right way. It is. And you see the South is highlighted there with that black, right? That's what the logo is, a compass, and our pride is in the South, and our North Stars are student athletes, right? And the history, that's to the West still. We're celebrating it, but we're still moving forward to the east of this compass. And so it's very meaningful in everything that we do. And I think our new logo has been celebrated. And look, it's the new era of the Southland Conference. We're not going backwards.
I love it, man.
I like it. I'm not gonna lie. I like it. I know folks all year are gonna say, "Oh, you were so crapping on the Southland." I'm like, look, it's not. Let me say this again.
No, we deserved it.
Well, it's not the same conference it was.
No, I agree.
Logo. The logo is just the first part of it. Like, it's just everything else that you're seeing, and so it's refreshing. Again, I really appreciate it. I'll have my show, the Southland Sermon.
Okay. Yes. That's how you renamed it. Thank you. Yes. I'm interested what you're gonna do.
Yeah, we'll get you on. I gotta get my music going. That's the biggest problem, but we'll get it on.
If you need me to do a solo or freestyle, I'm ready, right? So I'm here for you.
There you go. There you go.
No, this is awesome, and I appreciate you all having me on. And you all take your time to spend it with us, and hope you have a good time here while in San Antonio. Yeah. If you all need anything throughout the year, look, come our way. And I know we have all Southland fans on, but for all those down in the NAC, we got you. Right? Welcome back. And our folks in the Valley, welcome to the league. And look, the ones that have been with us throughout, thank you for your loyalty and standing part of this. We're going to continue driving it forward. And please, talk about us, be transparent, what you don't like and what you like. Celebrate us online, and we're here for you all the way.